Colonel Tomas Reeves stood at the observation deck of Earth's orbital defense station Aegis, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display showing the approaching Vraxian armada. 30 years of military service had prepared him for many things, but first contact with an advanced alien civilization wasn't one of them. "They're hailing us again, sir," Lieutenant Marcus Reed reported from his station. His young face betrayed the anxiety everyone felt. "Put them through," Reeves ordered, squaring his shoulders. The holographic display shifted to reveal High Commander Zoltan of the Vraxian Imperium. The alien's blue-gray skin and four eyes gave it an unsettling appearance to human sensibilities. "Colonel Reeves," the alien's translator conveyed, "I trust you've considered our generous offer." Reeves maintained his composure. "We have, High Commander. Earth thanks you for your proposal, but we must decline becoming a protectorate of your Imperium." Zoltan's upper eyes narrowed. "You misunderstand, Colonel. This was not a negotiation. My scouts have observed your primitive defensive capabilities. Those antiquated fighter craft, F-16s, I believe, are museum pieces compared to Vraxian technology." Behind Reeves, his executive officer, Major Diana Wilson, tensed visibly. "Our defense systems serve Earth adequately," Reeves responded diplomatically. The sound that emanated from Zoltan needed no translation. It was unmistakably derisive laughter. The bridge crew behind the alien commander joined in the mockery. "Your species has spent more time fighting among yourselves than looking to the stars," Zoltan continued. "The Vraxian Imperium has conquered 12 systems in the last cycle alone. Your resistance would be insignificant." Reeves allowed a slight smile. "Perhaps, but humanity has always been full of surprises." "You have 6 of your Earth rotations to reconsider," Zoltan declared. "After that, we will demonstrate the consequence of your stubbornness." As the transmission ended, Major Wilson stepped forward. "6 days isn't much time, sir." "It's enough," Reeves said, turning to face his staff. "Contact General Hirano at Lunar Command. Tell her to activate Project Phoenix." Wilson's eyes widened. "Sir, that's a black project. Most of the staff here don't even know it exists." "And the Vraxians certainly don't," Reeves replied. "That's the point." Deep beneath the lunar surface, in a facility unknown to most of humanity, Dr. Victor Delgado supervised the final preparations of Earth's true defense system. The cavernous hangar contained sleek spacecraft that bore little resemblance to the F-16s the Vraxians had observed. "How many are combat-ready?" General Yumiko Hirano asked as she entered the facility. "All 60 Phoenix fighters are operational," Delgado replied, "and the Artemis defense grid can be activated within 3 hours." Hirano nodded. "And the pilots?" "They've been training in simulation for years. The neural interfaces are synchronized and ready." On the far side of the moon, hidden from both Earth and the approaching Vraxian fleet, Command Pilot Jin Kwon led his squadron through final preparations. The Phoenix fighters represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, spacecraft, incorporating reverse-engineered alien technology from a crash site discovered in Antarctica decades earlier. "Remember," Jin addressed his pilots, "the Vraxians don't know what we're capable of. Their arrogance is our advantage." As the days passed, Earth's apparent preparations seemed woefully inadequate to the watching Vraxian scouts. They observed outdated fighter craft performing basic maneuvers, primitive missile systems being positioned, and predictable defensive formations being established. What they didn't see were the quantum entanglement communication networks being activated, the phase shift generators coming online, or the gravity manipulation systems preparing to alter the very fabric of space around the approaching fleet. On the 6th day, as promised, the Vraxian fleet moved into position. Their massive warships dwarfed Earth's visible defenses. High Commander Zoltan opened communications one final time. "Your primitive resistance amuses us, Colonel Reeves. Those antique fighters cannot even reach our ships before being destroyed." Reeves stood calmly before the transmission. "You're right, High Commander, our F-16s couldn't reach your fleet." He paused, allowing himself a slight smile. "But then again, that was never the plan." At that moment, beneath the lunar surface, Jin Kwon gave the order: "Phoenix Squadron launch." 60 advanced fighters emerged from hidden lunar bases, their stealth systems rendering them invisible to Vraxian sensors. Using technology that the aliens believed was centuries beyond human capability, the Phoenix Squadron approached the Vraxian fleet undetected. High Commander, Reeves continued, humanity has learned one critical lesson from our history of warfare. Never reveal your true strength until the perfect moment. Zoltan's confusion turned to alarm as alerts began sounding across his command ship. What deception is this? Our sensors detect no. The transmission abruptly cut as the first Phoenix fighters unleashed their quantum disruptor weapons. The Vraxian shields, designed to repel conventional attacks, offered no protection against technology their scientists had deemed theoretically impossible for centuries. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses activated. Asteroid bases revealed planet-killer missiles. Orbital platforms previously disguised as communications satellites transformed into defense stations. The full might of humanity's secret military-industrial complex revealed itself in a single, coordinated attack. The laughter that had echoed across the stars fell silent. Humanity's first galactic war had begun, and the Vraxians had gravely underestimated their opponent. Colonel Reeves watched the battle unfold on the holographic display, knowing that the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The Vraxians were learning a painful lesson: never judge a species by its apparent limitations. For humanity had been preparing for this moment since the first alien spacecraft crashed on Earth decades ago. And now, the laughing had stopped. The unexpected counter. The Vraxian flagship Dominance shuddered as another quantum disruptor blast tore through its lower decks. High Commander Zoltan gripped his command chair, mandibles clicking in agitation as damage reports flooded the tactical display. "How is this possible?" he demanded, his four eyes darting between subordinates. "Their technology should be centuries behind ours." His weapons officer, Subcommander Vex, worked frantically at his station. "The human vessels are using some form of phase-shifting technology, sir. Our sensors can barely track them, and our targeting systems cannot establish locks." On the main view screen, another Vraxian cruiser erupted in a spectacular explosion as Phoenix Squadron continued their relentless assault. What had begun as a simple subjugation mission was rapidly becoming the worst military disaster in Vraxian history. "Establish communication with the human command," Zoltan ordered, struggling to maintain his composure. Across the battlefield, aboard the Lunar Command Center, General Hirano received the incoming transmission with grim satisfaction. "They're hailing us," her communications officer reported. "Put them through," Hirano ordered, nodding to Colonel Reeves, who had joined her at lunar headquarters. Zoltan's image appeared, his usual arrogance replaced by barely controlled fury. "What trickery is this? You deliberately misled our intelligence operatives." "No trickery, High Commander," Reeves replied calmly. "Merely strategic discretion. Did you really believe we would display our true capabilities to unknown alien visitors?" Jin Quan's voice came through on a tactical channel. "Phoenix Squadron reporting. We've disabled their primary weapons arrays on 3 capital ships, minimal casualties on our side." Hirano acknowledged the report before turning back to Zoltan. "Your invasion force is outmatched, High Commander. We suggest an immediate withdrawal from Earth's solar system." "Impossible," Zoltan snarled. "The Vraxian Imperium does not retreat." As if to punctuate his defiance, the Dominance launched a barrage of plasma torpedoes toward Earth. The massive weapons streaked through space, their destructive potential enough to devastate entire continents. Hirano didn't even flinch. "Activate Artemis." Across Earth's orbit, previously dormant satellites came to life, generating an interlocking energy field. As the plasma torpedoes struck the field, they simply vanished, their energy absorbed and redirected back toward the Vraxian fleet in focused beams of devastating power. Zoltan's expression shifted from anger to shock as the redirected energy tore through his remaining ships. This is impossible. Your species couldn't possibly." "You made a critical error, High Commander," Reeves interrupted. "You assumed our public technology represented our true capabilities. The F-16s you mocked were a facade, a deliberately maintained illusion to deceive threats exactly like yours." Dr. Delgado stepped into view beside Hirano. "For decades, we've reverse-engineered technology from various extraterrestrial craft that crashed on Earth. We knew first contact was inevitable, but we couldn't know if it would be peaceful. So we prepared," Hirano continued. "While maintaining the appearance of a planet focused on internal conflicts, we united behind closed doors. Every nation contributed to Project Phoenix and the Artemis defense grid. On the tactical display, Phoenix Squadron continued their systematic dismantling of the Vraxian fleet. The advanced human fighters moved with impossible precision, targeting critical systems and avoiding unnecessary casualties, demonstrating not just technological superiority but tactical restraint. Jin Quan's voice came through again. Their flagship is attempting to retreat should we pursue. Hirano looked to Reeves, who considered for a moment before responding. Negative, Commander Quan, let them go. They need to deliver our message. Zoltan's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme distress in his species. What message? That Earth is not defenseless, Reeves stated firmly. That humanity will not be conquered or subjugated, and that any further aggression against our world will be met with overwhelming force. The Dominants, now heavily damaged, began pulling away from Earth's orbit. Surrounding it, the remnants of what had been an overwhelming invasion force limped into formation, preparing for faster-than-light departure. This isn't over, Zoltan warned. The Imperium spans hundreds of star systems. We will return with a force that even your hidden technology cannot withstand. Perhaps, Hirano acknowledged. But by then our technology will have advanced even further, and now we'll do so openly without the need for deception. As the Vraxian fleet retreated from the solar system, celebrations erupted across Earth. For the first time, humanity collectively understood how close they had come to annihilation, and how thoroughly they had been protected by technologies kept secret from the public and potential enemies alike. In the aftermath, Colonel Reeves addressed the United Earth Council, the secret governing body that had overseen humanity's clandestine preparations for first contact. The Vraxians will return, he stated bluntly. And they won't be alone. Our victory today was decisive but not without cost. We've revealed capabilities we've kept hidden for generations. Council Chairperson Wei nodded gravely. Then we must accelerate our defensive preparations. The veil has been lifted. There's no going back to pretending we're less advanced than we are. Dr. Delgado projected a holographic display of new ship designs. The Phoenix fighters performed beyond expectations, but they're just the beginning. With the data gathered from this engagement, we can improve our quantum propulsion systems, enhance our phase-shifting technology, and develop more effective weapons. Major Wilson, promoted for her role in coordinating Earth's orbital defenses, stepped forward. We should also establish forward operating bases beyond our solar system. Early warning systems at minimum. Jin Quan, now regarded as a hero across Earth, joined the discussion via holographic projection from his recovery bed. Despite their victory, he had sustained injuries during the final push against the Vraxian rearguard. The Vraxians weren't expecting resistance, he noted. Next time they'll be prepared for our technology, we need to innovate beyond what they've now seen. Reeves nodded in agreement. And we need allies. The galaxy is clearly more populated and more dangerous than we anticipated. There must be other species who have faced the Vraxian Imperium and survived. As the Council debated humanity's next steps, monitoring stations at the edge of the solar system detected unusual energy signatures. Initial analysis suggested they weren't Vraxian in origin. Colonel, Lieutenant Reed interrupted the Council meeting. We're detecting multiple approaching vessels, non-Vraxian configuration. Hostile Reeves asked, tension returning to his voice. Unknown, sir, but they're broadcasting on all frequencies, in perfect English. The council chamber fell silent as the message played through the speakers. People of Earth, we witnessed your defense against the Vraxian aggressors. For too long, younger species have fallen to their expansion. We represent the Galactic Concordat, an alliance of free worlds. Perhaps it is time for humanity to take its place among the stars. Your deception of the Vraxians was impressive. The laughter has indeed turned to silence. Reeves exchanged glances with General Hirano. The game had changed again. Humanity had not only survived its first interstellar conflict, but had caught the attention of a larger galactic community. The silent mockery of the Vraxians had been answered with a demonstration of human ingenuity and determination. Now, a new chapter in Earth's history was beginning, one where humanity would no longer hide its true potential, but would emerge as a recognized power among the stars. Galactic alliances. The arrival of the Galactic Concordat delegation transformed the United Earth Command Center into a hub of diplomatic activity. 7 alien species, each with their own unique biology and culture, stood before humanity's leaders. Their spokesperson, Ambassador Threll of the Luminari, towered over the humans with her crystalline form refracting light into dazzling patterns. Your victory against the Vraxians has sent shockwaves across 12 sectors, Threll stated, her voice resonating with a musical quality. For centuries, the Imperium has expanded unchecked. You are the first emerging civilization to repel their initial subjugation force in over 200 cycles. Colonel Reeves and General Hirano exchanged glances. What had seemed like a decisive victory to Earth now appeared to be merely the opening move in a much larger conflict. The Vraxians will return, continued Ambassador Krell, a reptilian representative from the Draconis Federation. With a force 10 times what you faced, they cannot allow your defiance to stand. It would encourage rebellion throughout their territories. Dr. Delgado stepped forward. We're already enhancing our defensive capabilities with sufficient time. Time is precisely what you lack, interrupted Morven, a small, gray-skinned being whose species specialized in temporal mathematics. Our calculations suggest the Vraxian counter-response will arrive within 60 of your days. A murmur of concern spread through the human delegation. Despite their technological achievements, Earth couldn't possibly prepare for a tenfold increase in enemy forces within 2 months. This is why we've come, Threll explained. The Concordat has maintained a delicate balance of power with the Vraxian Imperium for generations, neither side willing to risk full-scale war. Your world has unwittingly become the flashpoint for conflict we've long anticipated. General Hirano's expression remained stoic. You're suggesting an alliance. A mutually beneficial arrangement, corrected Krell. The Concordat can provide immediate technological and military assistance. In return, we gain a strategic foothold in this sector and access to your unique approach to warfare. Unique approach, queried Major Wilson. The smallest Concordat member, a hovering entity named Zim whose body appeared to be composed of swirling gases, moved forward. Your deception strategy. Most species develop technology openly, proudly displaying their advancements. Your civilization deliberately projected weakness while developing strength in secret. A necessity born of our divided history, Reeves explained. Before unification, nations kept their most advanced technologies hidden from potential adversaries. Precisely, Threll nodded, light cascading from her crystalline form. This thinking is foreign to most spacefaring civilizations. The Vraxians were unprepared for it. Such strategic innovation would be valuable to the Concordat. As the diplomatic discussions continued, Jin Quan led a joint training exercise with pilots from 3 Concordat species. Their ships, though different in design from the Phoenix fighters, incorporated similar principles of quantum mechanics and phase-shifting technology. Your maneuvers are unpredictable, commented Raz, a feathered pilot from the avian Skyrith species. You don't follow standard combat patterns. Jin grinned, humans call it thinking outside the box. When facing superior technology, unconventional tactics become necessary. Within days, the first wave of Concordat defensive systems began integration with Earth's Artemis grid. Dr. Delgado worked alongside alien engineers, marveling at technologies humanity might have taken centuries to develop independently. Your quantum entanglement communication is remarkably similar to ours, he noted to Threll's chief scientist, Vexus. Yet your approach to gravitational manipulation is entirely different. Vexus, whose body seemed to shimmer between solid and liquid states, manipulated a holographic display. Different evolutionary paths lead to different technological solutions. This is why the Concordat values diversity of member species. Each brings unique perspectives. Meanwhile, Colonel Reeves and General Hirano received a concerning intelligence briefing from Concordat military advisors. The Vraxians have already begun mobilizing their central fleet, reported Krell, displaying tactical projections. Worse, they've activated their alliance protocols with the Hive Collective. Another hostile power, asked Reeves. The Hive values efficiency above all else, explained Morven. They consider individual sentience wasteful. Their goal is to absorb all life into their collective consciousness. Hirano studied the projections grimly, so we're potentially facing 2 enemy forces. 3, corrected Krell. Our intelligence suggests the mechanical dominion may join them as well. We need to accelerate our preparations, Reeves decided. and perhaps consider taking the fight to them before they can fully mobilize. This suggestion caused visible surprise among the Concordat representatives. A preemptive strike, Threll questioned, against forces that vastly outnumber your own. Sometimes the best defense is a strong offense, Major Wilson explained. If we can disrupt their staging areas, we buy ourselves more time to prepare. The bold strategy, quintessentially human in its audacity, sparked intense debate among the Concordat delegation. Such aggressive action contradicted their long-established policy of defensive containment against the Vraxians. Yet as Earth's military leaders presented their plan, a precision strike against key Vraxian supply depots using the Phoenix Squadron's stealth capabilities, the aliens began to recognize the potential. Your fighters could penetrate their defenses, asked Krell skeptically. Jin Kwon displayed simulation data. The Vraxians still don't fully understand our phase-shifting technology. We can be in and out before they realize what's happening. Dr. Delgado added, and with the enhancements your engineers have helped us implement, our weapons efficiency has increased by 40%. As the plans took shape, Earth's orbital shipyards worked at unprecedented speeds, producing additional Phoenix fighters and integrating Concordat technology. The formerly hidden facilities, now operating in the open, became symbols of humanity's new status as an interstellar power. Public knowledge of alien contact and the Vraxian threat united Earth's nations more thoroughly than any event in human history. Former adversaries contributed resources and personnel to the unified defense effort, understanding that planetary survival transcended old conflicts. 30 days after the Concordat's arrival, the combined fleet gathered at the edge of the solar system. Alongside 60 Phoenix fighters now flew 40 Concordat vessels of various designs. The Joint Strike Force represented the first true military collaboration between humanity and alien allies. Colonel Reeves addressed the assembled pilots from the command ship Defiance, Earth's first true interstellar warship constructed with Concordat assistance. This mission isn't just about buying time, he told them. It's about sending a message that Earth will not wait passively for invasion, that humanity fights alongside the Concordat as equals. The Vraxians laughed at our apparent weakness once. Now they'll learn that underestimating humanity was their greatest mistake. As the fleet prepared to jump to faster-than-light travel, Jin Kwon took command of the lead attack wing. The Phoenix Squadron, now integrated with pilots from 3 Concordat species, represented the future Reeves envisioned, humanity taking its place among the stars not as conquerors, but as defenders of freedom against imperial aggression. Ambassador Threll observed the preparations with growing respect for these newcomers to galactic politics. Where the Concordat had maintained a defensive posture for centuries, humans brought a boldness that had long been missing from their strategy. They move with such certainty, she remarked to Krell, despite knowing the odds they face. It is their ignorance of impossibility that makes them dangerous, Krell replied, and valuable. As the combined fleet vanished into faster-than-light travel, Earth's defensive preparations continued. The Artemis grid expanded daily, now incorporating technologies from 7 different alien civilizations. Training centers around the planet prepared new pilots for the expanding Phoenix program. Humanity had moved from isolation to galactic involvement in a matter of weeks. The laughter that had once mocked their perceived weakness had been silenced by their unexpected strength. Now, as they carried the fight to the enemy alongside newfound allies, the galaxy would witness the true resilience and determination that defined the human spirit. The Vraxians had unwittingly awakened a sleeping giant, and in doing so had changed the balance of power throughout known space. The birth of a new interstellar power was underway, forged in the crucible of conflict and alliance. The bold strategy, quintessentially human in its audacity, sparked intense debate among the Concordat delegation. Such aggressive action contradicted their long-established policy of defensive containment against the Vraxians. Yet as Earth's military leaders presented their plan, a precision strike against key Vraxian supply depots using the Phoenix Squadron's stealth capabilities, the aliens began to recognize the potential. Your fighters could penetrate their defenses, asked Krell skeptically. Jin Kwon displayed simulation data. The Vraxians still don't fully understand our phase-shifting technology. We can be in and out before they realize what's happening. Dr. Delgado added, And with the enhancements your engineers have helped us implement, our weapons efficiency has increased by 40%. As the plans took shape, Earth's orbital shipyards worked at unprecedented speeds, producing additional Phoenix fighters and integrating Concordat technology. The formerly hidden facilities, now operating in the open, became symbols of humanity's new status as an interstellar power. Public knowledge of alien contact and the Vraxian threat united Earth's nations more thoroughly than any event in human history. Former adversaries contributed resources and personnel to the unified defense effort, understanding that planetary survival transcended old conflicts. 30 days after the Concordat's arrival, the combined fleet gathered at the edge of the solar system. Alongside 60 Phoenix fighters now flew 40 Concordat vessels of various designs. The Joint Strike Force represented the first true military collaboration between humanity and alien allies. Colonel Reeves addressed the assembled pilots from the command ship Defiance, Earth's first true interstellar warship constructed with Concordat assistance. This mission isn't just about buying time, he told them. It's about sending a message that Earth will not wait passively for invasion, that humanity fights alongside the Concordat as equals. The Vraxians laughed at our apparent weakness once. Now they'll learn that underestimating humanity was their greatest mistake. As the fleet prepared to jump to faster-than-light travel, Jin Quan took command of the lead attack wing. The Phoenix Squadron, now integrated with pilots from 3 Concordat species, represented the future Reeves envisioned, humanity taking its place among the stars not as conquerors, but as defenders of freedom against imperial aggression. Ambassador Threll observed the preparations with growing respect for these newcomers to galactic politics. Where the Concordat had maintained a defensive posture for centuries, humans brought a boldness that had long been missing from their strategy. They move with such certainty, she remarked to Krell, despite knowing the odds they face. It is their ignorance of impossibility that makes them dangerous, Krell replied, and valuable. As the combined fleet vanished into faster-than-light travel, Earth's defensive preparations continued. The Artemis grid expanded daily, now incorporating technologies from 7 different alien civilizations. Training centers around the planet prepared new pilots for the expanding Phoenix program. Humanity had moved from isolation to galactic involvement in a matter of weeks. The laughter that had once mocked their perceived weakness had been silenced by their unexpected strength. Now, as they carried the fight to the enemy alongside newfound allies, the galaxy would witness the true resilience and determination that define the human spirit. The Vraxians had unwittingly awakened a sleeping giant, and in doing so had changed the balance of power throughout known space. The birth of a new interstellar power was underway, forged in the crucible of conflict and alliance. Legacy among stars. 5 decades after Earth's first contact with the Vraxians, the Terran Concordat had expanded to include over 40 species across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. Where once humans had struggled to defend their single world, they now stood as architects of the most successful interspecies alliance in known galactic history. Admiral Jin Quan, his hair now silver but his eyes still sharp, stood on the observation deck of the flagship Destiny, watching as the next generation of Phoenix fighters performed training maneuvers. The sleek vessels bore little resemblance to their predecessors, incorporating technologies from a dozen worlds, but they still carried the name and spirit of the squadron that had changed humanity's destiny. "They're getting better," remarked a familiar voice behind him. Jin turned to see Admiral Reeves, now well into his 80s but still serving as strategic advisor to the Concordat Defense Force. Together, they had witnessed humanity's transformation from planetary isolation to galactic leadership. "The young pilots lack the desperation we had," Jin observed. "They've never known a time when humanity faced extinction." "Perhaps that's our greatest achievement," Reeves replied, "creating a galaxy where our children don't need to fear annihilation." Below them, Earth shone like a blue jewel. The cradle of humanity now served as the administrative center of the Concordat, its cities showcasing a blend of human and alien architecture. Representatives from across the galaxy walked its streets, conducting the business of an alliance that had permanently altered the balance of power in known space. The Vraxian threat had never fully disappeared. 3 times in the past 50 years, they had tested the Concordat's defenses, each time retreating before full-scale war erupted. The Hive Collective remained contained within its territorial boundaries, its attempts at expansion consistently thwarted by Concordat intervention. What had begun with mockery of Earth's apparent primitive defenses had evolved into a new galactic order, one where cooperation and mutual defense had replaced imperial ambition as the dominant paradigm. As Jin and Reeves reminisced about the early days, a priority communication interrupted their conversation. On the holographic display appeared the face of President Diana Wilson, former major now elevated to Earth's highest office. "Admirals," she greeted them formally, "the diplomatic corps has received an unusual request. A Vraxian delegation wishes to discuss terms for joining the Concordat." Jin and Reeves exchanged looks of astonishment. "The Vraxians want to join us?" Jin asked incredulously. "Their empire is collapsing," Wilson explained. "Internal rebellions, resource depletion, and the continued containment by our forces have finally broken their economic system. Rather than face total collapse, a reformist faction has taken control of their government." "And we're considering their admission?" Reeves questioned, skepticism evident in his voice. "The Ascendancy representatives believe it represents our best opportunity to transform a long-standing enemy into a partner," Wilson replied. "They've suggested you both participate in the negotiations, given your historical relationship with the Vraxians." As the diplomatic process unfolded in the following months, former High Commander Zoltan, now aged and stripped of his military authority, stood before the Concordat Council. His once imposing presence had diminished, but his voice still carried the weight of history. "50 years ago, I came to Earth with conquest in mind," he admitted to the assembled representatives. "I laughed at what I perceived as primitive defenses and an unsophisticated species. That laughter was silenced by humanity's ingenuity and determination." He turned to face Jin and Reeves directly. "The empire I served is dying. The philosophy of domination that guided us for millennia has failed. We come not as conquerors but as petitioners seeking to learn from those we once sought to subjugate." The integration of Vraxian territories into the Concordat marked the final chapter in humanity's rise from planetary isolation to galactic leadership. What had begun with mockery and threat of invasion had culminated in the transformation of their greatest enemy into an ally. In the century that followed, human innovation continued to drive the Concordat's development. The principles that had allowed Earth to survive first contact, strategic deception, technological adaptation, and unified purpose, became core elements of the Alliance's approach to new challenges. The Phoenix Squadron remained the elite force of the Concordat, its pilots drawn from all member species, including, eventually, the Vraxians. The F-16 fighters that had once been mocked became legendary symbols of humanity's journey, preserved in museums across Allied space as reminders of how appearances could deceive. As humanity expanded through the stars, establishing colonies and deepening relationships with alien cultures, they carried with them the lesson of their first interstellar conflict. That strength often lies not in obvious power, but in the ability to surprise, to adapt, and to unite against common threats. The laughter that had once echoed across the void had indeed fallen silent. In its place stood the Terran Concordat, humanity's legacy among the stars, built from the moment when underestimation became their greatest advantage. In the great archives of the Ascendancy, the story was preserved for future generations. How a species on the edge of the galaxy, armed with seemingly obsolete fighters and a talent for strategic deception, had transformed the course of galactic history. Not through conquest or domination, but through the uniquely human qualities of innovation, determination, and the ability to forge alliances where none seemed possible. The empire that had been born from mockery now stood as a beacon of cooperation across the stars, humanity's greatest achievement and enduring legacy.